Hello, and welcome to the Reporter's Action Figure Review. Today we'll be looking at, I almost said Transformers, Marvel Universe, Greatest Battles Comic Pack of Power Man, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. And you can see my hands moving around because of the packaging. So let me get the figures out of the way and just show you the packaging really quick, and then we can get back to the figures, because that's what you really care about, isn't it? So nice artwork there. Right like that. Now, right off the bat, this is a good 2-pack to get if you want a retros. If you like their team up for the Heroes for Hire, and if you like these costumes. I actually really do like both of these costumes a lot. I know some people don't like this particular costume of Iron Fist for some reason, and Luke Cage, because they're questionable. But I'll get to that. Here they are. I do have the comic. It's just I don't feel a need showing it because it's kind of stupid-ish. I mean, it's a good comic. It's nice and everything as a comic book, but why did they chose that particular issue? Because it's called Day of the Dreadlocks or whatever, and they're just fighting a bunch of evil robots or something, and it's kind of funny in a way, but they're kind of like Daleks from I don't know, Doctor Who. I don't know anything about Doctor Who, just know that they have little trash can robots that try to kill you. That's basically what they're fighting in this comic book. So, like, they kind of... I'm wondering, don't they have, like, some kind of villain or more of a not completely random issue? But, it's okay. And if you always have a problem with it, you can always just go buy some comics at the comic store, so... And then here's a bio. So, don't mind me, that's just me saying, like, why they choose that comic. Me ranting a little bit about it. But I don't really mind, because the figures are the real gem of this pack. You don't buy this for the comic, do you? Yeah, Spider-Man, Captain Britain, which I might get. Spider-Man has tie swivel. That Captain Britain looks pretty cool. And I still haven't seen these. I think they're Toys R Us exclusive, but are they in this wave? I don't know. I've not seen them anywhere at all, ever. So, I need them badly. And I like how this 2-pack, I actually want both figures now. Just like this, I want both figures. Possibly want both figures in that. Some of these 2-packs, I only want one figure, like, out of the 2-pack is, like, one that I want. And then the other one I don't want as much. Like, like what Secret Wars, for example, they kind of paired them kind of funny. Like, let's see, I don't want the Magneto, but I want the black costume Spider-Man, you know what I mean? Because when I had the Showdown Magneto, and I think that's the best 4-inch Magneto figure ever. So, anyway, under the figures first, I'll do a Luke Cage here. He's got his retro, I guess, old school 70s outfit. There is a modern Luke Cage down in Marvel Universe that looks a little bit more modern to today's, I don't want to say standards, but this looks like the 70s, and that's kind of where this costume was from. Big collar, the open shirt, he's got a tiara on for some reason. Never knew why, but he does, whatever. He's got an afro. He's got some shiny glue or something in his hair. I don't know what these costumes are kind of questionable. I don't know if I said that, but a lot of people don't like them because they're kind of emasculating, I guess they want to say, or something like that. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I mean, like, he's got a tiara on, he's got bracelets, he's got an open shirt, and I'm saying he's gay. I mean, he's got slippers on, an open shirt, a giant collar, a tattoo on his chest. But I'm just like, okay. Today's costumes is usually a costume and a mask, and these guys are kind of crazy. They're crazy. They want to be different. But anyway, yeah, he's got a nice mean face. I mean, look at him. He's like, hey, bitch, shut up. I'll beat you in the ground. I really like that, actually. Nice face. And he can't look down very well, actually. His head rotates. You can look down, like just straight down. And you can't look up because of his collar. It was a new piece, I guess, and they glued that on. But I don't know why. When he looks down, I can pose him and Iron Fist standing on a corner of a building looking down onto the city streets where there's a crime. That'll be a good display, actually. So, hey, yeah, I can make use of that. Arms are ball joints, and swivel at the bicep, bend at the elbow, rotate 360 at the wrist. He's got a nice torso joint and he's got actually got skin tone paint update so you can have his back arched. I like that because before they used to not do that, and then they would have a gap or something. You see like the whole, like especially with the Silver Surfer from like the first wave, like the third figure that came out. You saw like the hole for the articulation, the way the figure was constructed. And here you do not. He does have a waist joint. And these are old molds, by the way. But the fact they don't have the new articulation, so they have the whole ball joint on the hip, and then the double joint in the knees, and then the four in the back of the feet, and the full 360 spin. But the thing is, what these figures, okay, these figures are still super awesome, and I totally recommend them even though they have the old molds, because they look awesome. See, if you like these costumes and everything, these are actually really good figures. That would be nice if they released them with the new articulation, because that would definitely help posing Iron Fist, because he's a very agile character. He's heavily, he kicks a lot of ass, because he knows a lot of martial arts. So, getting him in poses to utilize that aspect of his, I don't want to say training or whatever, a new articulation would be totally welcome for him. But, he's still really cool. He's still really awesome. What they lack of in being old molds, they make up in look and paint. Speaking of paint, he's got this yellow, darker yellow, okay. The sleeves, the jacket, and the boots are more in this light yellow. The shading used for the yellow are a darker yellow. That's the same thing I was talking about when I'm talking about the Wolverine and Sabretooth pack now. Example, he's got the lighter orange molded orange, right? And then he's got the shading is a kind of a darker, different shade of orange. It kind of, to me, looks like, it kind of looks sloppy to me sometimes. Now, I have seen some of these that are completely bad, and these are actually the better figures. I'm trying to get him to stand, because he can stand. It's just I usually put a figure stand on him anyway. But like with Wolverine, he's got that orange, and that looks like that powdered cheese that mix that you put in your macaroni and cheese. And if you ever made macaroni and cheese, you know what I'm talking about. Where you make the noodles and everything, and then you rinse them out, and then you put them back in, and then you put the milk and the butter and the cheese in there, and the cheese is just powder stuff. It kind of looks like that to me. I don't know why. But I mean, it's not bad. I'm not saying it sucks, and it looks like he spilled cheese all over himself. I'm just saying, if I think about, if I think about it being cheese a lot, I'm gonna start thinking that more. If you don't pay any attention to it, it's not as it doesn't bug. Yeah, as long as I don't pay attention to it too much about cheese, then it won't, like, every time I look at it, I won't think, oh, like it's cheese. And the reason why I'm talking about that and cheese is because he's got the same thing, just with the yellow in the yellow, not with the orange. And it kind of looks like mustard, but I mean, not too terribly bad. The arms are actually the worst because it's kind of pale and you can actually see it. But I mean, it's not bad. And it looks good. It's just I wish I think he'd look better if they maybe used a different color, maybe. I don't know what. Maybe a little bit of black or something to define his muscle tone in his jacket rather than a darker shade of yellow. But it's still good. I mean, it doesn't look completely horrible and terrible and ugly and looks like he's a messy eater or anything. That's the same with, him and any other pack or figure that I feel the need to reference that kind of similarity again. But I'm just pointing that out. So yeah, Luke Cage is awesome. Now for Iron Fist. Okay, the first thing you need to know is that, now Ashrock 1982 had this problem where his leg popped off of his, when he got out of the packaging. Mine, both of the legs popped off. I popped them out and his legs were still in the packaging. I was like, until I popped them back out. Now they're fine. Just, he's packed in there kind of tight and he's his knee is kind of bent. Not bad, but kind of a little bit. It's too bad too. But not as worse as my Marvel Legends Wolverine. That has the worst bow leg syndrome ever. Okay, so I've been waiting for this costume of Iron Fist for a while because I used to have the Marvel Legends one, and I really liked that figure. I don't know why I like this costume so much. I think it's because it's so unique and so I want to say extraordinary, but you don't see a giant collar like this very often. It's very dynamic looking. It's very different from the casual, used to costumes normality you usually see. It stands out a lot, you know what I mean? And I like that. There's some variety and whatever the word is. Now it does have a torso joint, you can see. It's really good, and that's what I was talking about, like with the Silver Surfer. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but you can see the hole. Like when I was saying with him, how he's got skin tone painted up into the joint. He does too. Just you see because this is the older one, you kind of see the hole for the articulation too, where the articulation was constructed or whatever. Now, as I think this whole body mold is actually the same as Claw, Multiple Man, the Iceman that recently came out, the 3-pack, Mr. Fantastic or Reed Richards, that one there, and a few others that have used the same mold, although this one has the newly added collar, of course, and the head, I think, from the previous Iron Fists. The one where he doesn't have his collar, he's in a different costume, with like gloves and boots and like a whole shirt and no collar. So it's a different costume. I don't know what those are from, but I like this one the most. When I think of Iron Fist, this is the costume. I really like it for some reason. He does have slippers on, which is cool that they actually painted that. That would have probably been pretty hard to paint on there, actually. And, I kind of like that. And his feet kind of go forward and back, but not too terribly, and I don't want to break them. Overall, what you want to look for really with paint apps is just the lines on the sleeves and the legs, and just the lines. Every line. His face is nicely done. He's got his nice dragon tattoo, which I think has a tail with an arrow. It's supposed to go down a little further. I didn't see that on the 4 of the copies of the set that I was looking through in the store, so I'm not entirely sure if he's supposed to, but this one does have a fist, and his leg popped off. That happens sometimes. He's got... The thing I like the most about this mode is the arm articulation, because it's a smaller body. It's got this nice ball joint that can actually fold in, so you can give him some nice poses. I need to get a flame accessory, preferably one from one of the Human Torches. I actually don't have the one that came with the 2-pack torch, even though I have that torch. I used that flame and I cut it up and I made the custom headpiece. That's how I made the flames. So I wish I would have done that now, because I could have clipped it on the Iron Fist, and because like his Marvel Legends version, he's got the energy effects. because he focused all of his energy into one punch. That's why they call him Iron Fist. And there's like this flame, and that'd be really cool because he has a fist. I mean, come on. I remember the first release didn't have a fist, so like, what? His name is Iron Fist. You gotta give him a fist so he can punch things. And then the second release did, and then this is like the third release of this character, and this one is my favorite. He doesn't have the collar though. It's really cool. His no waist joint, his hips are on ball joints, double joint knees. The same thing really. Wrist rotates, bicep, shoulder, and torso. The head rotates around. I like how the ties on the back of his mask are kind of swept like during the wind, like he's in motion, like he's kicking. But yeah, I totally recommend getting this 2-pack. Both for the retro looks of these both characters, and these are my favorite versions of the costumes for these characters. So, yeah, I give this a 10 out of 10, and I totally recommend picking one up. This is Porter saying, peace out.